police for black girl nerds.
Thank you so much. Hi, Cynthia. I wanted to wear something that reminded me of your beautiful gown on Sunday, but I didn't have any
Thank
green,
you.
so this was the closest we could get.
Gorgeous. It's gorgeous.
Thank you. So do you, as usual. Thank you for your time and this marvelous role that you are embodying. What are the building blocks to embodying an iconic figure? You're becoming kind of an expert at doing those types of roles. So what is the building blocks?
Building blocks, research, learning about them. I'm a visual learner, so I need to see them as much as I possibly can. And when I can't, I try and read them. But luckily for me, Aretha has many videos. There's many sound. You can hear loads of songs. You can hear her speaking a lot. So for me, I like to try and get into the movement of that person. I love, for me, my body. If I can get into the body of them, that helps me. And remembering that that person was a real human being and that they existed and that they had wants and needs and desires and hurts and pains and loves and joys, and starting there, because there's no way you can get to the Aretha or the person or the icon that we know in front of everybody else in the public eye if you don't start with the humanity that they were at the very beginning. And so if we start there as a vulnerable human being who wanted to do well, who wanted to have her music heard by all, who wanted to have a hit, who wanted to make her father proud, that is where you start, because that's where you go from, and you can understand why she would get to where she got to. That's for me like the main building blocks. And then a good script, making sure that you can relate to it, and if there's anything in the script that doesn't quite feel right, being unafraid to have a conversation with your showrunner or the writer or the director. Hey, can we shift this? Can we move this? Can we change this? So that it's a collaboration between everyone. And that's not easy for everyone, but for me it's very important, so that we can all come together to tell the same story, yeah.
I'm glad you mentioned that, because what was particularly interesting for me was seeing those darker moments of her life. I don't think many people like myself will know a lot of these things that occurred during her life. How does that further her legacy, that we know the derivation of where all of that talent came from?
Yeah, I think what it says to us is that she overcame. I think we didn't realize how much she was overcoming, and to show these things allows us to understand that this woman was a woman of true resilience, and true determination, and that there was just something, a spark in her that couldn't be put out, and I think that helps us to appreciate the music that she brought to us, the stories that she was telling, things that she couldn't bring herself to speak about, but put into her music, even more than we have done previously. Yeah.
With the presenting of the film and the series, young Cheyenne, who plays young Aretha, and you playing adult Aretha, there's a beautiful, it's almost like a bridge, even though obviously you're never any scenes together,
Yeah.
but just the way her portrayal and your portrayal matches up wonderfully. Did you all talk to each other on how to bring it forth? Or I know that there are restrictions given our current situation.
No,
Did you guys communicate with each other?
I can't take any credit for that. That's just good casting, and Cheyenne being an incredibly talented young lady. We met a couple of times, and I just thought she was really, really sweet and special. And whenever she needed me, we had conversations occasionally. And obviously, we were in the same room when we were doing our script readings. And she just, I think, is just a brilliant young lady. Yeah. And it just happens to be kismet that it feels like it sort of marries in the right way. Yeah, I felt that when I met her too. I was like, oh, this feels like it's going to be the right match.
She is lovely.
Yeah.
And lastly, as we continue to watch this beautiful rise of your career and all these wonderful things you're doing, also a new book and music and all these different things. Lastly, please tell me about your book and the genesis of how it came together, because I know it's very important to you and you spent a lot of time on it.
Yeah. So I was asked to write a children's book a while ago, and a stickler for the details, and I was very adamant that if there was going to be a children's book, I was going to write it. I didn't want anyone to write it for me. I didn't want anyone to give me the ideas. I really wanted to come up with it by myself and write the thing. So I was like, when it comes, I will. I don't want to rush into it. So I happened to be in LA doing some meetings and some writing, and I was getting ready one morning and I'm in the shower and the idea hits me like a bolt of lightning. Like, I'd never had an experience like that before, but the idea came fully formed. I was like, oh, I know what I'm going to write about. I know what's going to happen. And I was showering as fast as I could because I didn't want to forget the idea. So I get out the shower and I start writing it down. I have an actual written version of the thing because I'm like old school. I have my iPad and a pen and I write everything down and just save it that way. So I'd written this book and I'd written the pages and I'd written the treatment for it, and I sent it to my book agent and he was like, oh, this is a great book. And the idea is that each person, and particularly this young girl called Ibera, who is named after my sister, is taught that her dreams are never too big. But when she does dream big, to dream it with all the detail that she could possibly dream it of. And I kept it really simple. It's just like a fable, essentially, so that we all can take from that none of our dreams are ever too big. And dreaming in detail and of all the small things that you want within that big dream is also really good to do too, because it just makes the dream even closer than it was before. Yeah,
that is amazing. And I would listen to the ebook version too, because your voice is very ASMR. I would listen to that too if you were reading it to us.
Thank you very much. I might do that actually. Yeah.
Thank you, Cynthia, so much for your time. And that's a great, during the workout. Thank you so much for your time. You're wonderful, and it's an absolute pleasure.
Thank you so much for doing this today.
Thank you.
Pleasure.
Better shake your booties for black girl nerves. Better shake your booties for black girl nerves.